Christian, of course, accused of stabbing 3 men, killing 2 of them on that train back in May of 2017.
Of the violent and deadly attack on a MAX train.
Christian, accused of stabbing to death 2 men on a MAX train.
Free speech or die, Portland. You got no safe place. This is America. Get out if you don't like free speech.
You robbed me of one of my favorite people on this planet.
On May 26, 2017, on a MAX light rail train in Portland, Oregon, a 6-foot, 250-pound white man started shouting racist and anti-Muslim slurs at 2 black teenagers. Other passengers intervened and tried to stop him, but he ended up killing 2 men and injuring a 3rd.
Christian then took out a knife and stabbed the men. Talija Nomkai Meche and Ricky Best died. Micah Fletcher survived.
The attack was widely condemned by Portland community, politicians, and civil rights groups, some of which said it represented a rise in hate speech, racism, and Islamophobia in the United States.
At that time, the Portland native was 35 years old, had already served time in prison for robbery, and according to a psychological evaluation requested by his attorneys, he had never lived on his own or held down a job for more than a few weeks.
At about 4:30 p.m. on May 26, 2017, Jeremy Joseph Christian started shouting what the Portland police report later described hate speech toward a variety of ethnicities and religions at 2 girls on a Metropolitan Area Express MAX light rail train, a 17-year-old Muslim Somali girl who was wearing a hijab, and her non-Muslim friend, a black girl aged 16. A witness reported that Christian used anti-Muslim slurs and was screaming that he was taxpayer, that colored people were ruining the city, and he had First Amendment rights.
Dr. Cunningham wrote Christian boarded the MAX to do his free speech thing, yelling, "You don't like free speech? Move to Saudi Arabia and see how that works. Get your head cut off."
Other passengers yelled back at him. One man, Sean Ford, stood between Christian and the 2 girls in an attempt to block them from Christian's view.
I changed my, my space where I was in the train to try and, I guess shield them from him, and maybe take some of whatever he was dishing out, and just kind of get him to kind of focus on me.
Felcher, then 21, joined Ford, telling Christian to shut up and leave the girls alone. Namkai Mek, who was 23, approached Christian holding out his phone. "You're about to be an internet sensation," he told him. Christian slapped the phone out of his hand before he could press record. "Do something, bitch," Christian yelled. He shoved Felcher, who pushed him back. Then Christian grabbed a folding knife out of his pocket. The train stopped and the doors opened as the men stood face to face. Best, who was 53 at the time, stood behind Namkai Mek. None of them could see the knife Christian held down at his side. He opened the blade when Felcher shoved him again. "Go on and get," Felcher yelled. Before he was even finished, Christian started stabbing and slashing the 3 men. Best and Namkai Mek fell to the floor. Felcher fled, and Christian continued to stab the 2 fallen men. Afterward, there was chaos. Some witnesses tried to help, while others fled, stepping over their bodies. Best died on the train. Namkai Mek was transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead, and Felcher survived, but with a scar running from below his ear nearly to his collarbone.
The color was leaving his body.
New video tonight shows Jeremy Christian slapping Talija Nomkai Meche's phone out of his hand, then push Micah Fletcher. Fletcher then pushes back. You can see Christian leave the train, threatening others with a knife. Morgan Noonan was on the MAX that day and describes the graphic details after the stabbing of Ricky Best. Off the train, other witnesses rushed to help. Then you can see Christian pointing the knife towards Sean Ford, who was trying to help 2 girls, one wearing a hijab that Christian was approaching.
Get the fuck out. You know what?
The train stopped at the Hollywood Northeast 42nd Avenue Transit Center. Kristen ran into the Hollywood neighborhood and was chased by the passengers who had called 911. After the attack, the station and Max Light Rail trains were shut down in both directions for several hours. Following their arrival at the station, police were able to locate Kristen, and a group of at least 8 officers arrested him. During the arrest, Kristen threw a folding knife with a 3.75-inch blade that hit a police car and bounced off of it. The police also states that patrol car video footage shows Kristen saying after his arrest, "I just stabbed a bunch of motherfuckers in the neck. I can die in prison a happy man. That's what liberalism gets you." Kristen was charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder and 1 count of attempted murder, as well as 3 misdemeanors, 2 counts of second-degree intimidation, and 1 count of being a felon possessing a restricted weapon, and booked into the Multnomah County Jail. During the chaos, a heroin addict took advantage of Best's death. and it was almost a week after the attack. In the early morning of June 2, 2017, police arrested 51-year-old George Elwood Chagney, who lived in a small homeless camp near the platform where the train stopped. According to police and prosecutors, George removed a wedding ring from Best's finger and stole Best's backpack and wallet. He was arrested after police viewed surveillance video showing the theft and obtained a community tip on the thief's identity. George was a heroin addict. In court, he was charged with identity theft, second-degree abuse of a corpse, first-degree theft, and tampering with physical evidence. After a guilty plea on November 14, 2017, he was sentenced to 13 months in jail, followed by 5 years of probation and court surveillance drug treatment. And if you thought the case couldn't get even worse, it came out in court that all that could have been prevented if police listened to Hester, a restaurant worker. It should be noted that she is a black woman. 17 hours before he stabbed the 3 men, Christian menaced her with a knife on that same train. Hester got off the train and Christian followed her. "You are going to get it now, bitch," Christian said. She pepper sprayed him and he threw a full bottle of Gatorade at her eye. But when a Portland police officer arrived, he interviewed Hester, asking to see her identification, while Christian walked away.
You're about to get it.
This is once he's off the train and you're off the train?
Yes.
How did that make you feel? Now you're off the train.
I knew he was going to do something, that I was off the train. He had his bag, he was ready. I put my mace in my hand.
And what happened next?
I maced him as I saw him putting his bag down. And when I was coming further to him, he threw the Gatorade bottle at my right eye.
Max attack suspect Jeremy Christian interrupted as one of the accusers in his case spoke out against him.
I'm the victim. You're on video macing me. Liar. Liar. You liar. You're not the only black person on Max. Liar. Manufacturing hate crimes. You liar.
Christian's outburst followed a comment by Demetria Hester. The Portland woman said she was assaulted by Christian the day before he allegedly stabbed 3 people while riding the Max, killing 2 of them.
Just one day before Friday's alleged attack, police say Christian was captured ranting on the same train.
You got a problem with what I'm saying? All you Christians and Muslims and Jews.
His extremist views also on display at this April rally, where he appeared to give a Nazi salute.
Oh, it's like we got a Christian or Muslim bus driver. I'll stab you too. Move forward. Move forward, Max driver. I'm about to stab. Call the police. I dare you.
Now, the woman who recorded that said he was threatening people on the train and says that he was complaining about being pepper sprayed earlier the same day. Well, police say it was the next day that he stabbed 3 people during a tirade.
In court, on June 7, 2019, Christian shouted that he was not guilty and that he acted in self-defense against the violent aggression by Felcher and pleaded not guilty to all charges.
I've been brought up in Portland, Oregon. I went to the blackest high school in Oregon. Where I'm from, we defend ourselves. Where I was brought up in North Portland, we defend ourselves. Where I was brought up in Oregon State Penitentiary, we defend ourselves. I did not commit an act of violence against anyone on that train. I shoved 2 people who confronted me while I was sitting in my seat. And I said, what are you going to do? We're going to fight, but I'm not backing down. That's what happened. They wanted to fight. Maybe not Tilly, maybe not Ricky Best, but they involved themselves in the situation. Sadly, they have died. And I do regret that 2 people died, but I do not regret my actions that led to their deaths. Nor was it my explicit intent to murder anyone. And if it had been, Michael Fletcher would most assuredly be dead. And I would have stabbed him more than one time, but I stepped over him when he got off that Max. I did not kick him on the train tracks, which I could have done. You can say I'm guilty, but I'm not, because I break the law, and I did not break it. This is a stand your ground state, and I stood my ground. And to Michael Fletcher personally, I hold no ill will. You chose violence. I chose violence. People died. You survived. I understand your feelings of guilt. You should apologize to the families, not for not being there, but for being the main contributor of their deaths. Once you accept that, feel free to write me in prison. I hold no ill will against you. That's my statement.
At trial, prosecutor presented the testimony of 40 witnesses against Kristen, including Fletcher, who was wounded in the stabbing. A Portland homicide detective who interviewed Fletcher also testified and showed the jury the folding knife that was used.
Jeremy Christian kind of pushes Talisha Namkai-Meche right sort of up in here and pushes him backwards. I think he says, "Shut the up," and pushes him backwards. So again, what I'm noting on all of this is no one has touched him at this point.
We just watched the video and she's fine.
Okay,
It's clear.
so that's it. That's what we're going to do. So I've done.
You did that. You did.
You're going to be quiet.
Also, cell phone videos and train camera surveillance videos showing Kristen stabbing the victims were introduced into evidence. Extensive video and audio recording of Kristen's post-arrest ranting were also played to the jury. Kristen did not testify in his own defense.
Today, Beth's brother said he forgives Christian. Here's what Beth's son had to say.
I don't feel any hatred for German Christians. Why would you hit a rabid dog? It's just force of nature. It just happens. Though I do wish that the jurors and the judge, to the best of ability, prevents him from ever harming another soul.
This domestic terrorist terrorized 2 young women who happen to be black passing, subject them and all other passengers to this form of white terrorism, or his form of white terrorism, and ultimately take 2 lives that he never had a hand in creating, while almost taking a 3rd, and being in his path as he fled the scene. Under those contexts, every victim or every human in that car was a victim, except of course him.
24-year-old Micah Fletcher says being diagnosed with autism as a child made him a target of bullying, which is why when he saw Jeremy Christian yelling hate speech at 2 young women on the Max, one wearing a hijab, he started shouting back.
I cared about whether or not the other person was getting hurt.
Fletcher says when he approached, Christian hit him first. He pushed Christian thinking he hit Talisha Namkai-Meche. We now know Christian actually was slapping Talisha's phone to the ground.
I pushed him again,
And
closer hopefully towards the door.
how did he respond?
He responded by stabbing me in the throat. I'm going to die.
That's what you thought?
Absolutely.
Defense also questioning Fletcher about his history with participating in rallies involving Antifa, one where he was arrested for throwing smoke bombs, and another rally where he was seen interacting with Christian. Fletcher claims he didn't recognize Christian until after he first approached him on the train. Fletcher telling jurors today he wishes he could have done more.
Died. I got hurt. I was wrong.
What was the last thing you said?
I was wrong. I didn't save him. I really wanted to. I couldn't. Not less than about 2 weeks ago. It was an early morning and I had yet to have my coffee. The woman I love now, a new person who has entered my life and I've enjoyed the privilege of being able to be with, she was making breakfast as one does, and part of her routine in making that breakfast was using a butter knife to spread butter on toast. And she meant nothing by it, and I didn't even understand how it happened, but in the process of buttering the toast and raising the knife to her face, all of a sudden I realized that my hand was firmly wrapped around her hand holding the knife, seemingly as if it had a mind of its own. And this is ubiquitous now. This is in every aspect of my life. There is not a room in this world that I can enter without at least scanning it first to decide who the person is that is most likely to hurt me, how close by they are, attempting the calculations. How many steps would it take them to get to me? What kind of weapons do they have? Let me look at your pockets. What are the bulges in it? Is it long? Is it square? Is it L-shaped? If it's L-shaped, how quickly can I get behind cover? If it's something long, how quickly can I get far enough away from you that you can't reach me with whatever that object is? I basically spend the first 30 seconds of every event and area that I enter trying to figure out how easily I could die. You know, I've had to take to doing labor jobs now. Not had to because, you know, I'm in some way mentally handicapped from returning to school, but because I basically have to do as much backbreaking labor as I can throughout a day just to get rid of all the anxious energy that I have in order to feel hungry, to feel tired, and to not feel so blazingly and blatantly angry all the time. Mr. Christian, I want you to understand something. I don't take it personal. I don't. It's okay, I get it. For me, I'm not going to speak for anyone else. Okay. I absolutely believe that as far as the other families are concerned, I hope that they find the deepest punishment they can for you. But as far as you and me, we're good. There is a level of humbleness that I've had to come to in order to make any peace with the fucking machinations of this situation that have forced me to realize that you are still a person, as much as what you have done is some of the most heinous shit a person can do. You are not some mythological, all-powerful terrorist monster. You are a man that was drunk with a knife on a train. That is what you are. That is what I will remember you as. And though I hope you sit in a cell for the rest of your life so that you are never able to hurt another person the way you hurt those families again, I do hope that you find a way to become better than what you are today.
The attorneys made their closing arguments on February 19, and after 11 hours of deliberation over 2 days, on February 21, the jury announced they unanimously found Kristen guilty on all counts. And on June 24, 2020, Kristen was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms, one for each count of first-degree murder, with no possibility of parole. Kristen was given an additional 51.5 years for related charges. During the sentencing hearing, Kristen was removed from the courtroom after a furious outburst directed at one of his victims. As Hester spoke, Kristen shook his head and laughed. Hester then turned her attention to him. To Mr. Jeremy Kristen, your mom should have swallowed you, Hester said. You are a waste of breath, and when you die and go to hell, I hope you rot. I'll see you there, bitch, Kristen said. Go back to Tennessee. We don't want you here with all your race-baiting bullshit. Kristen turned to Teresa Rayford, a black woman and a former mayoral candidate, sitting next to Hester for support. You ain't gonna be mayor either, bitch. Kristen ripped off his mask with one hand, while sheriff deputies cuffed the other behind his back. You fucking hoes, he yelled. You fucked up our whole system. Then Kristen began yelling the name of George Floyd, the black man killed on Memorial Day weekend, when a white Minneapolis police officer kneeled on his neck for nearly 9 minutes, while Floyd said repeatedly he couldn't breathe. Four deputies hustled Kristen out of the courtroom door as he continued to yell at Hester, I should have killed you, bitch. I should have killed your bitch ass.
I blame the system for creating and facilitating people like Jeremy, and then we, the community, have to deal with them. In my case, the white supremacist got special treatment from the police. The police officer Gatsky believed the assault was made by the assailant. He didn't believe me or the 2 TriMet supervisors that pointed Jeremy Joseph Christian out and told him that he assaulted me. He refused to detain the assailant, and he let him walk away, knowing who he was. And to Mr. Jeremy Christian, your mom should have swallowed you. You are a waste of breath, and when you die and go to hell, I hope you rot.
See you there.
No, hey.
Go back to Tennessee too.
What do I tell you?
Go back to Tennessee too.
You can.
We don't want you here. All your race baiting bull. You ain't gonna be mayor either. You ain't gonna be mayor either. George Ford. Are you ready? George Ford. I should have killed you. I should have killed you. Everybody knows you're alive. Everybody knows you're alive.
Order in the court. He's gone.
That's the stuff
Thank
you've
you,
been
Miss
talking
Hester.
Jeremy Christian was also ordered to pay $12,046. The payment include $2,439 for Demetria Hester, who Christian injured by throwing a Gatorade bottle at her eye. $4,604 for Micah Fletcher, who survived after Christian stabbed him in the neck. And $5,000 for the family of Ricky Best, who died after Christian stabbed him in the neck. The money already has been paid to Hester, Fletcher and Best's family by the state's Crime Victims Compensation Fund, and Christian is now responsible for paying back the fund.
Take your mask off and debate! That's why I'm here. This is my soapbox. Portland, Oregon, the Northwest. We got Supreme Court rulings for our freedom of speech since the 50s and 60s in the Northwest. I don't care if you say you're a patriot and you say I can't come in your punk group. Take your mask off, mister. Don't tread on me. Don't be like these faceless punk antifas.
What's that? We haven't assaulted him. No.
My name's Jeremy Christian on Facebook.
I think they took a, I'm not sure if they took
Jeremiah Christian's my Christian name. You don't want to know my real name. I'm the dude that promoted shooting anyone that tries to disarm me. Three, revolutionary. You're not revolutionary. You got your face covered. You're a revolutionary. All right, you're a revolutionary. You serve the country, so that makes you a revolutionary. Okay, well, you're revolutionary by blood. That's good. That's good.
Oh, revolutionary by blood!
I'm a revolutionary. We brought all the Semitic monotheist child molesters over here. I'm a Viking. We brought them over here. Come on, we got prior land claims. Constitution, that ain't us Danish and Norwegians. We got prior land claims with the natives. Watch the History Channel. Watch the History Channel. Anybody got any questions? I'm free to talk. I'm going to say anything. I am here to provoke anyone because we live in a domestic situation where the only political affiliation that makes any sense is nihilism. I'm not on any of your sides. Not on your. I'm the news. I'm the news. You want the real news?
Why'd you try to go in there then?
Because they invited me in, and they told me to go in. These faceless antifas don't like me out here. Well, they can get the out. Get off my bus. This is my town. Go back to whatever state you came from. I was born in Portland, Oregon. Get the back to whatever state you came from, antifas. Go back.
All right.